Diddy is asking a judge to free him on a $50 million bond while he waits to be sentenced. And the reason that he's asking for this to be released is because his lawyer is saying, well, the detention center where they're holding him is just very dangerous.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I thought,
like he's not dangerous.
Right. And you're in there for a reason because of the dangerous things you were doing to other people. And I just thought, if you were just, let's just say you were
Joe Blow.
Joe Diddy.
Joe Diddy or Joe Exotic.
Joe Exotic. You would not be granted any sort of, I don't think.
No.
We don't know if Diddy would be granted this anyways, or even if his claim is even possible.
I have no idea.
So wouldn't that be everybody would be released?
I would think. Don't know. Because couldn't you.
Unless he has some kind of special circumstance that he can prove.
Wouldn't everybody who's being held in that same detention center then have the same ground to be released before their sentencing too, if it's deemed dangerous?
Right.
I mean,
what is he? How long is he sentenced for?
Well,
because he's going to have to go back anyways.
He wants to be free before. Well, we don't know what his sentence is going to be.
I see. But he got a lesser charge, right?
Yeah, I think the guesstimate. Yeah, well, the two most serious charges he was found not guilty, but they're guesstimating maybe 2 years, 3 years max.
But then
time served,
hurting in time served,
and to be released early.
Oh my God,
he's going to get out very soon.
And then is asking to not be in any sort of detention center until he is sentenced.
This was a failed case. It really was overall.
It seems that way, but we do have our official attorney, Lisa Lanier, on the phone to break this down for us because we clearly do not understand how it all works.
Hey, good morning.
Hi.
Yeah, so what he's saying essentially is not so much that he wants special treatment, but he wants to stop getting the special treatment that he's getting. Because what his lawyers are saying is no one who is charged and convicted with what I'm charged and convicted with ever has to stay in jail awaiting their sentencing. I would be the only one ever in the history of this charge. You're singling me out because I'm, Diddy, and you're treating me unfairly. I want to be treated the way every other essentially pimp with a sex trafficking charge gets treated.
Is that true?
Which they get bonded out. They generally do. They generally do get bonded out. But so here, though, I mean, the judge evaluated this already, and the judge said, look, I don't think once there's a conviction, then the defendant has a burden to prove that they're not a flight risk and that they're not a danger to anyone. And immediately the witnesses, the former girlfriends were like, oh no, he's going to come after me.
Yeah.
And so he didn't do anything to refute that. And so that you have witnesses saying they're afraid. So the judge is leaving him there. And so, I don't think the judge is going to change, anything about this, but it is different than most. But there are always exceptions where there is someone who is dangerous.
Well, and also certainly a flight risk. He has all the resources in the world. But you say like a pimp, the sex trafficking thing that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Let's say they were arrested, but then also had the much bigger charges that he had as well, and then the exact same thing happened. Then they would be released on bond, even though there was other charges. I know he's found not guilty.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be convicted, right?
Right.
And so
okay.
those go away, and you can't consider those. Yeah, if you were exonerated,
So it's just the ex-girlfriends that are basically, because they said they're afraid, that's enough to be like, okay, let's keep them in there?
I think several witnesses said they were afraid, but mainly it was, I think, the ex-girlfriends because, he has that history of retaliating against people. And so I think they have a legitimate basis for being worried, and he didn't present any evidence to refute that.
Yeah, the issue is, though, I don't know how much time you think he's going to get, Lisa, but what Katie just said, she thought maybe 2 to 3 years, plus at the time he already served. They're going to be scared when he gets out soon, number one. And the other thought was, why can't, if they're worried about a flight risk or something like that, give him an ankle bracelet and keep him in his home?
Yeah, I mean, for flight risk, that is certainly a great option these days. And you typically see that kind of undermining the flight risk scenario a lot of times. I think here it's more about people being fearful of a retaliation. Mm-hmm. And you're right, he might retaliate in 2 years, but he might also, sometimes the passage of time kind of puts a damper on some of those kind of feelings. So I think that's what they're all hoping for.
And even if it's not, he's just like, all right, I got away with some things here. You would think, but when they're such a narcissist and out of control.
Well, you could also say
or 2 or 3 years in prison, maybe you get out and you're like, man, I don't want to go back.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this,
true.
Lisa, and everyone else. I think it'd be worse let's say he gets out for a month or two, he's going to go back. Why would you want to be free for a couple months and then knowing your freedom's going to be taken away again? Just ride it out.
Maybe he has things
he's going to get credit for time served.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I think it's worse just mentally to get out knowing you're going back in.
Maybe he's trying to have like a final freak off or something. You know,
like
just
if you had to leave like a job,
it's terrible. But what if?
Well, I'm sure he
who
wants
knows?
to have sex,
yeah,
right.
But apparently he likes men too, so he could probably get that in prison.
I guess, but it wouldn't be under his terms. I don't think.
It would not be under his terms, but I don't know. I think it'd be worse. It's like if you let's say you were leaving work for a day of a job you hate, and then you get home and you have to go back later,
you would not want to
stay the extra 2 hours.
Yeah, I know. Maybe it's like a little vacation because you're so over it. But let me ask you,
over this whole prison thing.
That's right. This detention center.
Don't you think, Katie, or anybody, that Cassie or these exes are going to have a life of fear once he gets out?
100%.
What are they going to do?
He, as Lisa was just reminding us, Diddy has a history of retaliation. He was now I don't know if he was found guilty of it, but he blew up somebody's car in their driveway. Yeah. So yes, I do think that that's something they're going to live with for the rest of their lives.
Oh, and he had those times when he had those arguments with other artists, other rappers, and he would go send his goons with their guns and try to hunt them down and stuff. I mean, it's all documented.
Did he lose a lot of money with all the court case? Like, is he almost bankrupt, or do you think he's still going to have some money left over?
I think he was so wealthy that this hasn't really changed his portfolio that much. I mean, it's expensive, and it cost him, certainly some of the stream of income that he had. But he was very, very wealthy. So I think he's still very wealthy. He's maybe drop a very off there.
So he's going to be powerful too because of that.
And it won't always be Diddy coming after you. It'll be, as Lisa was saying, it will be somebody out of the blue. If he's going to retaliate, he will find a way.
Yeah.
And
one
that's
more question.
The terrifying part.
One more question. Let's say, Lisa, he's been in jail. How long has he been in jail for, Katie?
Oh,
a year?
I
Almost?
don't know the exact.
Let's say somebody.
I think it's been about a year. Yeah.
Okay, let's say he's been in jail for a year and he comes out. He is found not guilty in all charges, or just any human being is not a celebrity. He's been found not guilty of all charges. You spent a year in jail.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any you just wasted a year of this person's life, not Diddy necessarily, and then you were found not guilty? What's where do you get payback for that? Hello, you just took a year away from my life, probably ruined my career, a normal person, and I'm found not guilty. And I'm just supposed to go along with it?
Well, there's not usually any recourse for that unless there was some kind of really serious mishandling by authorities and a clear other, one of those situations where you see this all the time, somebody served 20 years for a rape murder and then they get the DNA and they find out it absolutely wasn't that person and that, the cops had this other name all along and they didn't pursue it. It has to be that kind of situation, really, for there to be compensation. But I mean, here with there was an absolutely plausible, belief that he did these things, and so you don't just go, okay, now I get to sue somebody over that. You won't get compensation.
I see.
For that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, Lisa, appreciate it. We'll see what happens.
And real quick, Lisa, while we have you on the phone, we want to talk to you about something, just this horrific
Sorry.
incident that happened in Danville, Virginia. A Virginia city councilman was working at his job in his office. It was attacked and set on fire after being doused by gasoline. And what we know now, he's still in very serious condition. Is that your understanding?
Yes,
Yeah.
he is in very. I mean, he was airlifted to the burn center. Danville is just about 45 minutes outside of Greensboro. He was airlifted to the burn center at UNC Chapel Hill, and I think he's in pretty grave condition. I mean, the guy, he knows this guy. So this is one of those stories that it is going to develop, and I think we're going to find that there's some really interesting backstory here because. I did some digging. I got much more interested in this than the Diddy, Diddy topic. Yeah. Because it's wild. So there's a picture that was on the councilman, the victim's in social media. I think it was on his Instagram with the guy that burned him.
Oh my gosh.
A whole group of them, they were friends, and it looked like they were at the fair or a carnival or something. And they were all kind of huddled up in a big hug. And so about 2 weeks before this happened, some accounts have said less than that. The guy that did that did the burning, he and his wife split, and they think it, there's an innuendo there that it has something to do with that.
Wow.
And it's very personal. He came storming in locked doors. When the councilman saw him coming, he started running. I mean, he knew something was up,
Oh.
and he doused him. The councilman was able to run away from him. He chased him down and set him on fire.
Oh,
my God.
Horrible. It's like a horror movie, for real.
It is crazy. And I mean, I feel so bad for this guy. And certainly, not trying to make light of it, but I think we're going to hear a very interesting backstory about it.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll keep you posted on that. It was just shocking news. Anytime anything hits close to home,
you're chasing somebody, and you still have the ability to light them on fire.
Well, he's already doused in gasoline.
Maybe he tackled him.
I mean, he was doused in gasoline. He may have, I don't know. I didn't see any accounts of what he was using to start the fire, but he might have had one of those, fire sticks or something like you start a grill with. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine he was tossing matches at him while they were running.
I don't know.
Hold still.
Yeah,
it is horrible. I mean,
it's absolutely horrible. And this guy now, is facing. Man. Here's an interesting, weird thing, I think. The attempted first-degree murder only carries a possible prison sentence of 10 years. What? But the malicious wounding, up to life in prison.
That's
I'm not
an odd
understanding.
law. That doesn't make sense.
So that's giving you, basically, that's promoting you to actually kill the person, then just hurt them.
Right, and just maliciously wound them.
Yeah.
Right.
Odd.
Right. Isn't that crazy? But so this guy is in deep, deep trouble. And I found a bunch of social media pictures of this guy. And some of them, like his mugshot, he looks kind of, I'm not sure if it's his mugshot. There's a picture of him against some cinder blocks, and it made it occur that it might be his mugshot. Very clean cut looking. There's others, like some selfies and stuff that he's posted where he looks crazy like a werewolf. I mean, it's just, he had very different looks. But it's very interesting. He clearly was friends with the councilman, and there's going to be an interesting revelation sooner or later, I'm sure, about why he was so upset.
It seriously makes me physically sick to my stomach to think about.
Oh, yeah.
You're just sitting at your job.
Can you imagine?
No, I can't. And no matter what it is, we find out that just the thought of sitting at your desk and then that, it's unthinkable to me.
Probably one of the worst things that could happen to you and survive is being badly burned.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's horrendous. And this guy, I mean, he's known for his kind of, youthful good looks and his exuberant, his great personality. And, and he's, I don't know where he was burned or what, but a burn is very, very hard to recover from. And people don't realize how painful it is, number one. And number two, the risk of infection and death are still huge, huge.
Oh, and the scarring forever, Well, Lisa, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. If you're ever injured, contact her right away at hireaheavyweight.com, top 100 attorney in the country.